Hello, everybody, and welcome to the War Room. This one is for the nightmare Diego Sanchez against the Celtic Kid Jake Matthews. I had to do a War Room for this one because it's a fun fight. Jake Matthews is 5-1 since he moved to welterweight. Really is a different fighter. When he was fighting at 155, honestly, he looked like a boy. I remember calling these early UFC fights, and he didn't look like the fighter that he is today. He took some time off. I think he had a couple of surgeries, and he just grew. He's a big, strong, powerful individual now. And every time I see him, I think to myself, how did he ever make 155? The other thing as well is since he's moved up to welterweight, he's had tough tests. He's been fighting the likes of Bojan Velichkovic, Rostam Akman as well, the IMAF champion. He's had some tough tests. Who are the other guys on his? The Leech as well, Emil Mek. He's had some big, powerful individuals in this weight class since he's moved up, and he's handled them very well. Diego Sanchez he's the wild card in this fight because we kind of don't know exactly what to expect from him. The different versions that we've seen of Diego Sanchez over the years, you can pick and choose, and the grappling version of Diego Sanchez from The Ultimate Fighter was amazing. Then the striking version that fought Clay Guida was amazing, and then we saw this resurgence of the grappling version again when he fought Mickey Gall and Craig White. That version of Diego Sanchez is a problem for anybody in this division. And I think if he's able to put a pace on Jake Matthews and get this fight to the floor, he might be able to land those ground and pound shots that do enough damage to daze Jake Matthews, maybe open up his submission game. I mean, Sanchez's game is so deep. He's got so much experience. He's had so many fights. He really could morph into any kind of fighter that he likes, dependent on the person that he's facing. The question is, it's all about what version of Diego Sanchez shows up. He's a bit of a madman, and we love him for it. But he leaves himself vulnerable sometimes. He takes risks that he doesn't need to. He fights with his ego first, and his face first, and he takes shots that he doesn't need to. And he gets very animated. He's an unusual character. And that plays into his fighting style. Jake Matthews is far more straight down the line. He's a good martial artist. He's a good athlete. He's got Diego Sanchez in front of him, and he knows what he needs to do to beat him. Sanchez will hang himself if you give him enough space to do it. If you engage him in a war, though, then you're going to bring the best out of him. If you're going to try and grapple with Diego Sanchez and he switches onto that smart, intelligent, floating top game ground and pound version of Sanchez that we've seen, that's a problem for anybody in this division because Sanchez is a good wrestler. He's got good submissions. He's got a good awareness of ground control. It's when he gets drawn into these striking brawls that he starts making mistakes. And with the Pereira fight, he just didn't really get into it because of how wild Pereira was. He's not going to see that from Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews is going to come out with good fundamentals. I don't think he's going to grapple with him too much. I think he'll work him in the clinch a bit maybe, but I think he'll respect what Diego Sanchez has to offer on the ground. It's all about Sanchez. And unfortunately for him, fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I suppose, he's found himself in this position in the division, in the UFC now, in mixed martial arts generally, where he's a gatekeeper. And the gatekeeper, I always think, is quite an interesting role. Someone asked me a question about it the other week. How do you define a gatekeeper? And the thing is with a gatekeeper, they have an undeniable level of skill that the majority of people can't get past. And that's you don't want a gatekeeper that lets everybody in, do you? That's the point of a gatekeeper, is to stop people coming through. That's why the gatekeeper finds themselves sort of in and around the top 10, top 15, because everybody else stays outside that gate. Diego Sanchez is the one that goes, is your name on the list? You crack me with a good elbow, you can go in. You know what I mean? He's the one that decides that flow of talent that goes up and down in the weight class. It's the same as the other gatekeepers. They're very valuable people in the division. They're the litmus tests for the rising tide. Are they good enough? Let's give them a gatekeeper. Let's give them someone that can be tested. The reality is, if you took Diego Sanchez and you put him on any smaller regional show, he could fight 10, 20 of your top guys and he'll beat most of them. But there'll be one that will slip through the net. And that one that will slip through the net might be an Ultimate Fighter winner. It might be someone that wins on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. It might be a UFC champion. But we identify those individuals because they beat a Diego Sanchez. That's what Jake Matthews is doing this weekend. He's got an opportunity to get Diego Sanchez's name on his record. And no matter when you add that name to your record, it's always valuable because of what he represents. He's a gatekeeper at the highest level. He's a bit crazy, and that's why we love him. But there's an undeniable level of skill and durability in Diego Sanchez. And that's what keeps the majority of people at bay. Jake Matthews is the next one that gets to test it. And I think if he comes in with a smart game plan and he gets the ragged, crazy Diego that spins around in the octagon with his eyes closed, that's the Diego Sanchez that goes down. The smart, intelligent Diego Sanchez that knows how many years he's dedicated to mixed martial arts, that's a guy that is a problem. I'm enjoying this one. I'm looking forward to it. It's why it's an interesting place on the card and why I've done a war room for it. Enjoy this fight.